My ex-husband, Evan, 28, and I, 28 female, married back in 2018 after 6 years of being together. I obviously met his whole family during that time, and his grandma, Erica, and I have become pretty good friends. Erica is like my late grandma, and it was easy for me to connect with her because we're both into embroidery, cooking, and taking care of plants. Evan comes from an only boys family. He has 4 brothers, and his father is Erica's only child. When we got married, she was so happy because they finally had another girl in the family, the first one being Evan's mother, who sadly passed away in 2017. Evan proposed to me with Erica's engagement ring, the one Evan's grandfather proposed to Erica, and Evan's father proposed to his mother with. The ring, it's beautiful. It has Erica's birthstone, a sapphire, and isn't big at all. When his mother passed, Erica got the ring back and told Evan to give it to me when he was ready. He did in 2018, but we divorced in 2020 because Evan cheated on me for the past 3 years. The divorce broke Erica's heart because we used to live with her. While I was packing my things, she approached and told me that she wanted me to keep the ring because it was meant for a daughter, not for the spouse of her child or grandchild. She said that even if Evan's mother were alive, I wouldn't have it because she loved her as much as she loves me. Still, things happened this way, and the ring was mine, no Evan attached. I tried to decline at first because it seemed like a family heirloom that I didn't have any right to keep. But Erica insisted, and I thanked her. Even after I divorced Evan, I still have contact with her, and I usually visit her pretty often. The problem is that about 2 months ago, Evan sent me a message asking for the ring because he wanted to propose to his girlfriend, the one he cheated on me with. I said that Erica gave it to me as a gift, and I wouldn't do it. He got furious and started calling me names for stealing his grandmother's ring and threatened me. I said that she gave it to me, but he didn't care. He wanted it back. And after a few weeks, he got into my house because I never changed the locks. Yeah, stupid of me, I know, but I thought he wasn't capable of it, and took the ring while I was at the gym because he knows I don't wear it there as I'm afraid to lose it. So I called the police on him, and they found the ring on his new fiance's finger, and I didn't press charges because I only wanted it back. He's been messaging me nonstop because his fiance is threatening to leave him if she doesn't get the ring back because I humiliated her after the cops had to take it from her finger, and that I'm his ex and I shouldn't have it. So I told him I hoped he enjoyed being single because he's not getting my ring back. Of course, Erica is not aware of this because I don't want her to be in the middle of a conflict. Still, Evan insists that if I just give the ring back, there wouldn't be a conflict at all. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It was Erica's ring. Her blessing for you to keep it supersedes anything your ex has to say. Great job calling the cops on them. She was humiliated because she received stolen goods. I'd point out to my ex that he could also be in jail as well as being single. Consider a restraining order. I humiliate her after the cops had to take it from her finger? Maybe she should have taken it off first. Did she think they were just going to let her keep it? Girl, I'm his ex. I shouldn't have it. Bold words from a side piece turned girlfriend. Let me tell you, I'd be embarrassed to get someone else's engagement ring, but it's extra embarrassing in this situation. Does she want your wedding dress too? Jesus Christ. Yeah, why on earth would the new fiance even want a ring that her partner's ex wore? Like, I'm sure it's more of a power move. He's mine now type of deal, but like, ew. I would be disgusted if someone proposed to me with the same ring they gave their ex. Oh, and a stolen one. Not the idiot. An engagement ring is technically a conditional gift, but that condition is marriage, which happened. Divorce doesn't make it not yours. Returning an heirloom ring to the relative it came from is nice, but it wasn't necessary. And then when that relative gave it right back, it took Evan right out of the equation. So this was a gift from his grandmother to you. Tell him to stop contacting you, unless it's through your lawyers, seriously, and change the locks. Yes, OP, your ex is a disaster. Get a restraining order against both of them and change your locks. He already broke into your place when you weren't there. Who knows what he'll do if you're there next time? You are not the idiot because it was a gift from someone. You didn't steal it. He made this mess by cheating on you. So this is going to be weird. One of my teen female earliest memories is of a little me crying over my mother's 47, seemingly dead body until she jumped and scared me. I started crying and she consoled me. Ever since then, at least once or twice a month, she has done this. I didn't figure it out until I was like 9 or 10. Even after I played along minus the crying, on seeing me not crying, I saw her giving me what I know now, weary glances. Anyways, yesterday she did it again. I had just come home from an extracurricular and was exhausted. I called out to her, but no one answered. I then checked on her and saw her in the same position when she pretends to be dead. I knew nothing terrible had happened on seeing her breathing and stealing glances at me, thinking I didn't know. So I just closed the bedroom door and went to the kitchen to grab some food. A few minutes later, she came down and asked me if I was okay. I said yes. She then asked me why I didn't check on her. I just replied with, "I think I'm too old for this game now," in a humorous tone. She didn't seem to see the humor though, because the next thing I know, she's shouting at me, calling me ungrateful and selfish. She then started crying and said that I didn't care about her anymore and would be glad if she passed away. Finally, she said she was disappointed at how I turned out and left to lock herself in her room, where she's been since, except for the few disappointed or angry glances my way when she came out to get food. Her eyes were red. My mother is a single mom. Dad never bothered to be a part of my life. She has done everything she could to have a comfortable lifestyle, and I honestly feel like crap for making her cry. Maybe I should have been gentler with my approach to the situation or played along. I don't know, but on the other hand, I was exhausted and was honestly sick of the game. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but there's something critically wrong with your mother for playing this game. Maybe if she started it only recently and you both laughed it off. But when you were terrified as a toddler? Yikes! OP, I suggest that you speak to other trusted adults in your life. A teacher, a coach, a community leader, a guidance counselor, etc. I do wonder if the mother has a serious mental illness at play, which appears to be manifesting. Agree. This is a pretty manipulative and traumatic prank to repeatedly play on a child. Please don't take her reaction too seriously. There will be many more like this as you become your own person. She needs therapy. It seems by her outburst that she is seeking reassurance that you love and care for her. It's just a very, very, very wrong way to do it. She's cried wolf too many times. This is a sick game she plays, and enough is enough. Tell her that if she cared about your mental health, she wouldn't constantly be testing your love by pretending to be dead. And while you care for her and appreciate all she has done, you can no longer indulge her by pretending to be scared every time she pretends to be dead. Oh yeah, obviously not the idiot. Next time, dump a bucket of water on her. Then when she gets mad, say you were just double checking. My husband Mike and I are together for 4 years and married for 2. Mike's a jokester, a very active one at that. He's ready to make, not tell, but make jokes and pull silly pranks on everyone. We have a stable life and we rarely argue. However, I should mention Mike's short. He can be very insecure about it because of the number of comments and jokes made about him by friends and family. We were visiting his parents to celebrate his birthday. I was going to wear the new heels I got recently. However, he asked to tone it down with my heels because we would meet distant relatives at the party. He didn't want us to look awkward standing next to each other, but I really wanted to wear the heels since it's a while since I wore any, and because I didn't have to walk a long distance, our house plus a car ride plus in-laws' house. With our 6-month-old son in my hands, I was out the door, waiting for Mike to bring the car closer. He stopped where I'm standing, telling me to get in, then drove forward and back in reverse and said, "All right, aren't you going to change those high heels? Must be exhausted from standing already." I told him to stop because I won't change my heels. Then he told me to get in, but before I did, he drove forward, leaving a distance, then started laughing. He then drove back in reverse and said, "It's not funny. I know. Get in the car." I tried to open the door, and he suddenly stepped on the gas and drove forward and laughed. He did it a couple of more times, and then after seeing my face through the rearview mirror, he drove in reverse back to where I was standing and said, "All right, I've had enough fun for tonight. Get in." I tried to get in, but he drove further in reverse and laughed again. I said, "Screw it. enough's enough, and literally head back in the house with my son and shut the door closed. Mike followed in and said we had to go, we're getting late. I told him he was acting unbelievably mean by repeatedly stressing me out and playing with me and my son like that. He told me he's sorry a couple of times, but I said I won't be going to celebrate his birthday after he did that. We get into an argument, and he left after calling me selfish for my stance. He ended up going alone, and I stayed home with our son. He came back looking upset and quiet, then stayed in our son's room. His mom didn't like that I skipped his 30th birthday over a small, harmless prank. She called, saying everyone was asking about me and that I made Mike sad on his happy day. I explained what he did and how tired I am of this. She reminded me it's his birthday, and he was just messing with me, so I should loosen up. We argued back and forth, and she told me to grow up and not be mad over every little thing, and that I should have celebrated this milestone with him. That's not a prank. That's a power play. A power play that could have hurt his wife and baby. What would he have done if his wife had her hand on the door handle as he went forward and backward? If OP had her hand around the handle in a grip to pull it open, she would have been yanked. And since she had the 6-month-old baby in her arms, she could have very easily dropped the baby. And since she was on heels, she could have lost her balance and fell. And what's more is that his mommy is justifying his actions. Let's get one thing clear. This man is using jokes and pranks as cover for a mean-spirited power play. OP, are all his pranks in this vein? Or was this a one-off? Separately, one wrong move by you or him could have resulted in a tragedy had you lost your balance, dropped your son, etc. There's nothing funny about this. Don't let his mother dismiss this. You're not the idiot. Not the idiot. Make an appointment for marriage counseling, and if he doesn't go with you, go alone. He put a baby at risk for his stupid games. And you said he turned 30? What kind of a man thinks it's funny to play games with a car in the first place, let alone with somebody who's holding a baby? And his mother and family are enabling this bad behavior? You just found out who's not safe to have your baby around, and it happens to include your husband. Everyone's the idiot here. The prank he pulled was childish and could have resulted in you and/or your son getting run over had you slipped and fell during this little game. All that to say, you explained your husband is insecure about his height because he gets made fun of by his own family and friends. It's his birthday party. He asked you not to wear heels. From what you say, you understand why he asked, his insecurities, but chose not to hear him at all because you wanted to wear the heels. No thought process of, he asked me for this one thing on his birthday, no less. Just, this is what I want, so it's gonna happen. Hope he enjoyed his birthday without his wife and son, and you enjoyed your heels for the 5 minutes you wore them. Recently, I, 21, went on a second date with this girl, 21, I've been talking to for a bit. We met at a bar and got drinks on our first date, and it didn't go great. In hindsight, I should have just stopped speaking to her then, but my self-esteem is pretty much non-existent, and I'm very desperate, so I asked her out again. Our date went awful. She was 20 minutes late, rude to me, which wasn't new, rude to waitstaff, also not new, complained about everything from the venue to the food to my outfit and cologne. When the bill came, I decided I probably shouldn't ask her out again unless I really can't find someone. So when the waitress came and asked about the checks, I firmly said 2 checks. The girl then said, "You really know how to make a girl feel special. Do you not bring money on dates?" I told her I was low on cash. I couldn't afford both of ours. She then said, "Well, I didn't bring my wallet. What are you going to do?" We started bickering, and the waitress said she'd come back later. I told her that I had the money to pay during the bickering, but she had been so unpleasant and rude that I don't want to see her again, and I don't think I should pay for her meal. She got even madder. After 10 more minutes of arguing, I decided I was done. I told her I'd go talk to the waitress near the cash register and see if something could be done. I got up, walked to the register, explained the situation, and she let me pay and leave. When I got to my dorm, I got a slew of nasty texts, and basically, she was stuck there until her friend could get off work and bring her wallet to her, which would be hours. So I blocked her for now. My friends think I'm an idiot. Am I the idiot? No, no, no. You do not owe her anything. Well, I didn't bring my wallet. What are you going to do? What? Dude, it sounds like she intentionally left her wallet at home so that if you didn't pay for her, she could try to manipulate a free meal out of you. Everyone's the idiot here. If you didn't like her, you shouldn't have asked her on a second date. In fact, you really seem to hate her. So it's really telling that you'll only see her again, maybe if you're desperate. It's a bad move to forget your wallet on a date, but it's also crappy to be rude to your date and walk out. I'd really love to hear her side of how things played out. You deserve each other. Completely disagree that if someone is behaving in that fashion, you're obligated to stay and keep being put down or yelled at because her free meal plan backfired on account of being unable to not act like an idiot. And did she really not have a payment method on her phone? If she had online banking, I'm sure something could have been set up. Some people don't, I guess, but I'm suspicious of the hours and hours. OP probably sounds like he hates her so much since they are typing this after all of the facts. It is also never wrong to walk out on a date for any reason. A date is supposed to be a pleasant time to get to know each other. If the time is not pleasant, uncomfortable, or just not your thing, you can walk out. If my date was offensive to waiting staff, I'd be gone already. If OP has done anything wrong, it is pushing his morals aside in favor of his insecurities. I'll just get this out of the way. My dad is technically my stepdad, but he's the only dad I've ever known. He came into my life when I was 5, and he and my mom got married a year later. My dad has 2 kids from a former marriage, and from what I remember and know, they never gave my mom a chance, but weren't overly hostile until their mom decided she hated mine. My mom was always raised to believe that when you marry someone, you treat their kids like their own, but you respect the biological parents and make sure the kids are always put first, not the adult feelings. So my mom tried to forge a common bond with their mom, and their mom didn't like it. This woman wished me and my mom dead. She showed up at their wedding and tried to take my dad's kids. It was crazy. Why my mom stayed, I will never know, but she did. And she loved us all through that. But my dad's kids treated her like she wasn't even human. They refused to acknowledge her, or they would make up weird stories about her. They didn't like me either, and used to say they'd sell me to whatever bad guys were looking for little kids. My dad fought in court to get that crap to stop. He fought with his kids on being cruel and disrespectful, and he even tried to reason with his ex. Nothing worked. Their mom died a few years into my parents' marriage, and they blamed my mom. My dad put them into therapy to help them cope with the loss, but they were eaten up by rage. And we found out their mom had fueled it all, being my mom's fault, because according to their mom's sister, she told them that my mom had cursed her to die. The last time they said anything to her was via Facebook a few years ago. My mom gave up then, and my dad accepted it, but I think he hoped I would someday have a sibling relationship with them. It came up because I'm expecting my first child, and he asked about figuring out the meeting. I told him they are viciously twisted humans and not welcome in my life ever again. My dad's parents, I would call them my grandparents, but I don't think they ever really considered me part of the family, and so, think I'm the idiot because it upset him that I would speak that way about his kids. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Jesus Christ. Why is your mom even putting up with this? These people are genuinely scary. I'd not want them anywhere near my family nor me. Was your mom your stepfather's mistress or something? Of course, it wouldn't excuse their actions even if she was, but their anger would be somewhat more logical. Not the idiot. They were obviously brainwashed by biomom and should have been in therapy or sole custody years ago. You're not obligated to have toxic people around you. You get to pick and choose who is in your life or not. And honestly, I think they shouldn't be in your life.